So I think it's about time to sit back and tell you guys a story. Does anybody remember the $20 makeup challenge that was going around? I guess it was, I don't think it was 10 years ago, but 8 or 9 years ago, because that was when I first started watching makeup videos on YouTube, and I had an inkling that I might want to have a YouTube channel, and I really wanted to do the $20 makeup challenge, so I did it. I went to the corner of Happy and Healthy and I bought a bunch of drugstore makeup, and I actually filmed the video and I actually uploaded it. I don't even remember what my channel name was back then, and I think that was the only video I ever did, and it was terrible. But the point of this story is the makeup that I bought from the drugstore, it was bad. Well, I don't want to say that it was bad. I want to say that it did not work well for me. Now, to be fair, I have bought my fair share of crap from Sephora, and I was able to take that crap back. Now, I know that Ulta has a really good return policy, so if you buy some crappy drugstore makeup at Ulta in the drugstore section, you can definitely take it back. But I think it's difficult to return makeup to like the grocery store or the actual drugstore. I don't know. I've never really had much luck returning makeup to the drugstore. Even when I have been able to return it, it's been a giant pain in the ass, and the headache of returning it was not worth getting the $5 back. So ease of return is definitely a factor that kind of keeps me away from buying makeup at the drugstore. The other thing that really keeps me from buying a whole lot of makeup at the drugstore is the fact that I love to try before I buy. I love it when they have testers. I love to be able to swatch the eyeshadow. I love to be able to smear the lipstick on my hand and see how it looks up against my skin tone. I love to be able to see the actual product. A lot of drugstore makeup comes in those cardboard packages, kind of like an action figure, and so you really don't know what you're going to get until you get it home, and I'm not okay with that. I like testers. I like to be able to actually get samples. And high-end makeup brands are really good about offering samples, like little sample packets of foundation. I've never seen a little sample packet of a drugstore foundation. That's not to say that they don't exist on occasion. I'm sure that now and then you can find them, but they're not readily available Whereas if you want to try a high-end foundation, it is so easy to go get a sample packet or to go to Sephora and get a little tiny container of it. I'm not gonna buy a foundation unless I can try it first. And so I'm never going to buy a drugstore foundation, ever. But that is mostly because foundation is not a product that brings me joy. I'm a joy junkie, and I love products that bring me genuine joy. So I'm sitting here saying I will never spend $5 and take a chance on a drugstore foundation because I can't try it. While I won't spend $5 on a mystery foundation, I will spend $15, $20, $30, even $40 on eyeshadow palettes from indie brands that obviously I'm not able to try before I buy. Part of that is also because I can watch videos on YouTube, and I tremendously appreciate all of the videos dedicated to eyeshadow palettes from indie brands that you can find on YouTube. Granted, you can find plenty of videos on YouTube about drugstore makeup, and I do appreciate that. I think that a big part of the reason that so many creators do videos dedicated to drugstore makeup is because they know that we as consumers are not going to be able to get a sample of it, so they're trying it for us. That's great, but if I'm being honest, most drugstore makeup is not all that interesting and therefore not all that joyful to me, whereas indie brands tend to bring it with the fun, joyful makeup. So if I'm scrolling through YouTube looking for a video to watch, I'm gonna click on the YouTube video about the beautiful indie brand eyeshadow palette. So I'm sitting here holding the Munaza palette from Blush Tribe, and I'm wearing this, and I'm kind of wearing this because of the ABH Riviera palette. I could not justify buying that because I had this palette, and so that makes me want to talk about dupes and why I don't do dupes. I mean, even though it seems like I am doing a dupe today, I didn't buy this with the intention of duping the Riviera palette. I already had this and therefore cannot justify purchasing the Riviera palette because they are similar in my opinion. But let's talk about dupes. I cannot think of a bigger waste of time and waste of money than trying to dupe a high-end product. That's just me. I think for a lot of people, finding a dupe is fun. I think it's a hobby. I think it's almost like a quest. And I get that. I love questing in video games. I don't really care for questing in real life. So let me present a scenario to you. I have a favorite foundation. It's $50. And I have decided that I don't want to spend $50 on my foundation anymore. I would prefer to spend $10. So I buy 5 $10 drugstore foundations to try to find a dupe for that $50 foundation that I love so much. So I've just spent $50 and let's say none of them really work that well. Let's say one of them even breaks me out. So I have zits all over my face. I'm out 50 bucks anyway. They're hard to return. Maybe I can return them. But anyway, I've wasted time. I have wasted time. I have broken myself out and I haven't gotten anything out of it. And really the waste of time hurts my heart more than the waste of money. So I think at this point I have just about covered everything that I intended to cover. I did make notes this time to try to keep myself on track and I think they worked because I don't think I went off on too many tangents. But before I sign off, I wanted to have a quick little chat because I feel like there is a general attitude out there that people should try the drugstore version of a product before they move on to the high-end version. I don't do that. I buy the things that I notice and I'm far more likely to notice something that you can find at Sephora or at the department store. I generally don't go to the drugstore to browse, and when I'm looking for new makeup releases, I kind of do glaze over a little bit when somebody's talking about drugstore makeup because most of it is just kind of boring. It's just not joyful like a lot of the higher end makeup is. Not because it's high end, but because it's fun. I don't see a whole lot of fun, whimsical products at the drugstore. And when I do see the fun, whimsical products, they're generally not good. Notice I said generally. There are exceptions. One that I completely forgot to mention. I picked up the NYX A Bit Jelly highlighter last week. I love this stuff. And the reason I picked it up was because they had a tester out at my Ulta. So I was able to try it. I fell in love with it. I think this is my favorite highlighter at the moment. I like to apply things with my fingers and these lend themselves really well to that type of application. But this is so good. Just for me, this is a dream highlighter. But I digress. So sorry. See, I went off book and I went on a tangent. I was talking about the attitude that you should try the cheap version before you try the expensive version. Do you feel like that attitude is out there? The reason this is on my mind is because I have read some really nasty comments on the videos of bigger YouTubers who talk about high-end makeup, and there are people who just attack their character because they buy high-end makeup. And I don't know if that's really common. For me personally, I'm very insulated from that bullshit just because I'm a tiny little microscopic germ of a YouTube channel, and I'm fine with that. I don't think I could handle that kind of negativity very well. I remember one time on my channel, somebody called me a white girl, like in a kind of hateful way, and I was like, what? Sorry, I mean, I can't do anything about that. And so I think I would just crumble up and cry if somebody attacked my character because I talk about high-end makeup. So I'm just curious to know, am I wrong about that, or is that attitude really out there? And if it is, what do you think about that attitude? Is it fair? Is it unfair? Do you care? And I usually like to have a cat with me when I wrap it up, but I can't find them. I don't know where they are, so I'm just gonna have to do this solo. That wraps it up for today. As always, thank you so very much for watching. Follow me on Instagram. I will follow you back. Throw me a pity like, give me some encouragement to make some more videos. Very special shout out to you if you were watching this video on the toilet. And until next time, stay adorably obsessed with makeup, drugstore or high-end. Just love your makeup.